Hi guys, my name is Borrodante. Let's check out the new updates for Krita and Corel Painter. So hopefully I'm finally back on track and we'll be seeing more episodes very soon. Done with the repair in my apartment, done with most of the commissions, so yeah, let's do this. So as I came back, I launched some of my software and many of those told me that they have an update. So let's check out Krita first. I'm not even sure if there's any exciting new features in here or something. So let's check it out in real time. Okay, what is this bug around my cursor? I remember this happened before in my system. I don't know what that is. But yeah, this is Krita 3.2, the newest version that came out like today or yesterday. Let's choose one of the standard brushes, because I forgot what they look like. So I remember the last time I checked out Krita, there was a problem with this post-rendering mode, the instant preview mode. When you have it on, everything, the strokes appear really fast, but like the stroke actually gets processed after you release the pen, and it kind of like renders into a higher resolution. And while it does that, you have a problem of like you're unable to undo the stroke. Afterwards, they fixed it and you could undo it, but if you undid it before it finished processing, you couldn't redo it afterwards. I wonder if they fixed it. So I'm not sure how to make it work. Yeah, it still doesn't work. Right? Yeah, like here, the stroke is still appearing, I undo it, it doesn't make me wait for it, it actually stops whatever it was doing, so it helps a lot. Like, if you're making a huge stroke that is getting too slow, you just want to undo it or stop it, you just press Ctrl Z and it will stop working. It's really a good feature. But keep in mind, if it hasn't finished the processing, right now I try to redo and it won't do it, because the stroke hasn't really appeared before I undid it. So yeah, that's one thing. I can't even call it a bug really, so I don't know. It's fine. Also, this brush is kind of fun. So yeah, let's actually read some of the new features and check them out. Touch painting. You can now paint with your fingers. Is that good? Wait, can I actually navigate? I can navigate with my fingers. That's good. It's a bit crazy, but it works. When I zoom in, it for some reason zooms in into the bottom left corner, no matter where I put my fingers on the screen. But yeah, it works. It works fast and without any lags and whatnot, so it does its job. So that's when I'm using two fingers, and one finger I assume is gonna be painting, right? And I guess this wasn't a thing before, I don't really remember it. But I guess I don't remember it ever being a thing for any program. Meaning, so it would be together, like supporting the navigation with fingers and at the same time allowing you to paint with finger. So like, usually it's one of the two. Either there's no touch support and you just paint with your finger as if it's just a mouse, or there's a touch navigation, like in Photoshop, but you can't paint with your finger in Photoshop. So in here we have both. It's kind of cool actually. Sometimes why not just use your finger to paint a little bit? There's no pressure sensitivity with this though. And it's actually kind of possible to simulate it, but I'm not sure if the generic touchscreen in Windows will allow to do that, so probably not. It's possible to do that on Android, I know that. But yeah, we have the finger painting. Cool. What else? Smart Patch Tool. Clean up and remove elements you don't want. Oh, that's for editing photos, like Photoshop thing. Let's give it a try with a photo. Because let's not forget, Krita is free, Photoshop is not. Oh yeah, I made a whole bunch of awesome photos of lightnings. Recently there was an amazing storm outside, so I took my DSLR camera and used it with a very long exposure. Okay, I can't drag and drop documents into the window. That's a bummer. Here it is. It's one of many. Most of them are on my Instagram, so you can check those out. So yeah, like, let's say I want to remove this little cloudy thing in here. Right? I can't do that now, I suppose. So how does that feature look like? Smart Patch Tool. Let's investigate. Are you the patch tool? Smart Patch Tool. From the first try. Okay, so I assume I don't have to do anything but to just make a stroke over a detail I want to disappear. Oh, this is hardcore looking. Processing. Okay, the resolution isn't small, but this is taking a little while. The fans in my computer are going crazy too, by the way. Wow, this is really heavy. Oh, there we go. Okay, it didn't do a very good job if you ask me. Like, comparing to Photoshop, of course. This is, let's call it a first version of this tool or something. Not exactly perfect. I'm not gonna compare it to Photoshop right now, but as far as I remember, it fits in much better than it does here. I don't know if you can see it, you probably can. There's like a pretty strong difference in the tone and the brightness of the stroke I made. It doesn't really fit in very well into the sky. What if we, maybe it works better for really small details, like you wanna remove a pimple or a scratch of some sort, right? So I assume, like, considering it works really slow, it's probably best to be used on small distances. Well, yeah, it works generally. Oh, it even affects pixels outside of my stroke to make it fit in better. Also, it didn't really maintain the noise of the photograph over this place where I made a stroke, like there's no noise in here. So you kind of can see where I made the change. But in some cases it might work pretty well, I guess, on skin, if it's generally smooth, but you want to just remove a little something. You can use this. It kinda does it much better in the demo video. It actually uses some textures from the environment, but they're kinda like more of a high contrast details, so yeah, I guess I used it in not the most convenient way for this feature. Also, there's accuracy and speed change in here, so let's go low and fast. Let's see how much worse it's gonna get. Well, it did become faster, and I'm gonna say the effect is kind of the same. It's just replace it with a smooth gradient that doesn't fit very well. What if we have the super high accuracy? Oh, patch radius. This is the amount of pixels that it goes beyond the stroke to smooth in the change I'm doing. Okay, so I made the highest accuracy, and let's go very tiny. Well, still no noise, I can tell you that. But generally it does its job. Not very well, but it does it. New brush presets. Radiant brush set. Good to create a strong painterly look. I remember these words. Well, let's check that out. Texture tilt. It says it's one of the new things. Okay, it actually looks pretty cool. A bit of a noticeable step, but it kind of randomized a bit, so it works out. Oil bristle looks pretty cool. Show me. Okay, cool. You see this thing when you make a stroke and then it changes a bit after you made it? Oh, it actually has this feature that I really like in PaintStorm Studio, where if you press very slightly, it's just a clean blender, but when you press stronger, it's only the paint, the color you chose. That's cool, I like it, so we can actually set it up this way. Well, I wasn't really doubting that. Krita has a whole lot of cool settings. I kinda like this brush, it looks very fortunate. And, like, I could actually paint something cool with that, I guess. Yeah, I definitely like this one. I'm gonna call it my favorite for now. The process is really fast, like generally I'm painting. This is a really big resolution. I wonder why most of the writings are cropped everywhere. Like this is 6000 by 4500 resolution. So yeah, this is really fast considering this is a blending brush and all that. This is really cool. It's kind of weird, like I'm painting so fast on the canvas, but when I'm choosing the color in the interface, it's actually slower than the way I paint on the canvas, which is much more of a complex task for the computer. So yeah, let's see what's next. New shortcuts. Gaussian blur can use kernels up to 1000 pixels in diameter, so we can make a much stronger blur effect on the canvas. Let's see. It's struggling a bit. I'm gonna press OK and you just do your job. Oh, that was really fast actually for such a huge resolution and huge diameter of the blur. Cool. Oh, it's actually still processing it. I can't really paint. It's probably processing... Oh, there we go, it's done. Now I can paint on it. It was processing it in a higher resolution or something. Still really fast, it didn't take that much time after it actually showed the preview. Okay, it's still doing something, and it shows 100%, but my strokes are kind of slow. Uh-oh. I tried to turn off the fast preview mode, and it kind of froze. The rest is a whole bunch of bug fixes, so that's cool. Okay, I don't think the Krita is gonna respond anytime soon, so I'm gonna close it, and let's move on to Corel Painter 2018. And this is actually the way they want us to call it now. It's written like this, 2018. I just installed it today, and the most interesting feature in here is called Thick Paint. This is a new kind of layer, which is not exactly an awesome way to go around new features, but that's what Corel Painter does a lot. When you have a new type of brushes or something, sometimes they take a new kind of layer, like a thick paint layer, and before that we also had watercolor layer, liquid ink layer. So in this layer you can only paint with this new kind of brushes, and you can't paint with these brushes on simple layers. A bit of an obstacle, but generally when you start painting with this new type of brush, you kind of want to start and finish with it because it's all looking in a very same kind of quality, so that kind of makes sense. At least it's not a big deal. So yeah, this brush is really cool. I tried it out a little bit. I can't get used to this kind of zoom in Corel Painter, but whatever. Yeah, there's touch navigation as well. No ability to paint with one finger. I did not expect to end up actually comparing Krita and Corel Painter, but that's what we're doing. So thick paint brushes are really cool. They tried to push the whole effect of, you know how many programs, including Corel Painter before, have this feature of simulating like thick paint, generally. In Corel Painter it's called Impasto. This is not Impasto, this is like Impasto 2.0 or something like that. Because on top of just having this thick effect, it has a pretty cool engine of just pushing this paint around. Like if it's an actual thick mass that you push around, it's really interesting. And the blending of colors is also kind of, I don't know, pushed forward a bit in its technology, making it a bit more interesting and not as perfectly digital looking as it always is. So this is pretty cool. I especially love just the way this particular brush handles its strokes. It has certain amount of variations to the amount of paint in each bristle. It looks really interesting and artistic and just natural. So yeah, before you think that this makes Krita look bad, let's not forget that Corel Painter costs $430. But, I mean, the developers are working a lot, obviously. So yeah, this is cool. Like, it doesn't handle it perfectly, like, this doesn't look very natural, right? When I do it like this in one place. But you shouldn't do that when you paint as well, so let's give it a break. Like, I can see how when you actually make a painting with this kind of engine, it may look really awesome and very realistic with the whole 3D effect of this kind. Like, check this out, it just looks so cool. So yeah, there's again a whole new set of settings for these new brushes. Like, there's new thick paint media, thick paint brush settings, and a whole bunch of different values to set up to make it thicker, drier, and whatnot. I'm not gonna go into this too much, let's just go ahead and choose different brushes from this new set that is right here, thick paint. So the first one, yeah, this one, you see it's really kind of like smooth. It has like a lot of paint in the brush, as well as a lot of water. This is the kind of look you have from that. I guess it works really well when you want to make a good sky gradient. You use a lot of water in your paint or something. Oh, this is just a knife, I guess. This thing just pushes the paint around on the canvas, doesn't have its own color. And this is the actual eraser knife. Okay, I guess we have a general idea of how this works. New cloning capabilities. Oh, that thing about cloning photo art, when you import a photograph and then it paints over it and makes it look like a painting. Okay, I have this picture of a cute astronaut lady. Let's go ahead and try to clone it into a painting. Okay, so the new features are kinda minor. Easily transform the size and shape of your opaque or transparent clone sources. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna just go ahead and press play. That's not the way you do it. I guess I should press this button where it chooses the color from the source. Okay, this doesn't go very well so far. How about smart settings on? Will that help? Oh my. Smart settings changed a lot. Oh, there we go. It now changes the radius and everything. Well, okay. At the very least, this is a really great base to start painting from. It's not exactly sporty, of course, to use this kind of feature. If you're doing a study from photographs, you should do that on a clean canvas yourself. But if you have a commission where you have to paint someone's portrait, this is a good way to start, I guess. Really amazing feature that helps a lot of artists with their work. Okay, we crashed. Okay, the next and the final new feature is some kind of 2.5D texture painting. So I found some brushes that are called 2.5D. This is looking pretty noisy. So these are some textures in here, right? And it's painting with them as a kind of like a 3D thickness. We're creating a simulation of if something is three-dimensional by just using a picture. This is cool. They're transforming any simple JPEG RGB picture into like a normal map or bump map. This is kind of cool. I guess you can find some application to that. Oh, there you go. That was some kind of scratcher brush. But here's, for instance, a builder brush. Surface Builder 2.5D. And it's actually creating this kind of very convenient way to build up with the texture. Cool. I can see how this can be used pretty well for some textures for video games or something. Cyberpunk. Okay, there's a bunch of really small extra features in Painter as well, including random grain rotation. You can rotate the texture of your brush differently so it wouldn't place the same holes at the same place. There are selection brushes, which are, I assume, some kind of a simulation of the quick mask, but in just a brush. Oh, there you are. Selection brushes. And I'm doing this, and this turns into a selection right away. Okay, this is kind of cool. Yeah, this is literally a quick mask mode, but it turns on the moment I start pressing and painting. Huh, this is kind of a cool solution in that. How do I subtract the selection though? Do I have to like choose this from here all the time? I guess there's the ability to add a hotkey for that. So yeah, I guess this is it for the new features of Krita 3.2 and Corel Painter 2018. I think it's pretty cool. Corel Painter really impressed me with the new thick paint engine. It's really interesting. I never seen that kind of engine working with the thick, oily blending brushes that specific way before. So it's really interesting. Both Krita and Painter crashed once during the recording, so there's that. Super new updates tend to crash sometimes, so I guess that's not a big deal. Krita's updates comparing to Painter were kind of minor. I mean, touch painting is a nice feature. Smart Patch tool is a very useful tool, especially in a free software. New brush set seems to be really actually usable and nice to work with. So yeah, there's that. Tell me guys what you think. I just wanted to do this update to get myself started with new videos and also check out the things that I'm interested in, Krita and Corel Painter. Generally, I like these programs. But yeah, for now this is it. And I thank you for watching if you did. I guess you did if you're here. Leave a like and subscribe. Tell a friend. Support your developers. Do whatever you want. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. Real wet oil. Oh, that's pretty wet, alright.